Unbelievable. Supercell is adding the Hero Magic Archer and Hero Barbarian Barrel. Even though Heroes, among other changes, have lost them millions of dollars over the last month. Even though people have started boycotting their game due to their bad decisions. Even though creators have given them pretty good suggestions on how to fix their game. They're still doubling down on a terrible mechanic that everybody hates. It's like they're trying to sabotage their own game on purpose. Now, me personally, I would never do something like this. You see, the difference between me and Supercell is that I'm only kind of stupid. I actually care about the success of my games. And I listen to player feedback. Assuming I actually get any feedback. Oh look, there's some feedback right now. Send me this build, diddychud. Alright bro, I know where you live. Anyways, here's some actual feedback. Do something with fire. Don't worry, Dad, I got you. I currently have 3 things in the game that have to do with fire, possibly more in the future. The flint tip blade item, the flame essence item, name subject to change, and the tome of pyromancy. Spells haven't been implemented yet, so we're not really going to worry about that right now. For now, we're just going to implement the debuff system. So what the flint tip blade does is it gives a 10% chance when hitting an enemy to set them on fire, and dealing 40% damage per second per stack, and refreshes when applying new stacks. I made it fire so that people wouldn't realize that it's just tri-tip daggers from Risk of Rain. For testing purposes, we're going to set the flint tip blade to 10, so we have a guaranteed chance to set enemies on fire. So here's the code that handles dealing damage to the hitbox, dealing damage to enemies, and this is where we're going to put the chance to activate the flint tip blade effect. So how this collision event works is it's treating this code as if we're writing it in the enemy object's code. So we can just use variables from the enemy object without having to specify where they're coming from. Now, first things first, we gotta do this. If not immune dot burn, and then we got this if statement right here. It's because some enemies are immune to certain debuffs. See, they got their immune list here. None of the enemies we have so far are immune to burn, but in case some enemy is, we gotta make sure to put that there, so we can't apply burn to them. Now we gotta put another if statement for the chance to activate. If random 1 is less than 0.1 times player items flint tip blade. So random is gonna pick a random number between 0 and 1, and this is the chance to activate per stack of flint tip blade times the number of stacks of flint tip blade that we have. Alright, this should be less than or equal to. One more thing we have to put for this if statement is times other dot proc coefficients. So basically what this does, what the proc coefficient is it's a multiplier to the chance to activate on hit effects. So this is the sword hitbox, it's just the regular slash, and it has a proc coefficient of 1, which means if we have a 10% chance to activate burn from the flint tip blade, that'll be multiplied by 1, and we have a 10% chance to activate it. If the proc coefficient was, say, 0.5, that 10% chance would be multiplied by 0.5, and we have a 5% chance. Proc coefficient for each hitbox has a different proc coefficient. This one has 0.5, and that's basically all it does. It just affects how on-hit effects work. A lot of these mechanics are very similar to Risk of Rain, because that game was a big inspiration for this game. And now inside the if statement, we got to put what happens if the effect activates, debuffs.burn plus equals 1, and debuffs.burn duration equals 300. So, assuming the game is running at 60 FPS, 300 frames is 5 seconds. Now, I'm probably gonna have to rework this at some point, because this is assuming the game is running at 60 FPS. If the game is running at anything other than 60, it's gonna affect how timers like this work, and I don't want that to happen. So it's game development 101 to not make things affected by the frame rate. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to fix that at some point. But for now, we're just gonna keep it like this. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. The number of debuff stacks we're supposed to apply is supposed to be 1 plus O player dot items dot rusty dagger times 2, because hold on, because rusty dagger is a legendary item that, right here, when applying a debuff to an enemy, increase the number of stacks applied by 2. So whenever you apply a debuff, you apply more of the debuff. So yeah, that's why we gotta put this here. So now we can officially set enemies on fire, but that doesn't really do anything yet, because there's no code for dealing damage over time to them. I already have all the debuff variables set up. DOT tick is what we're going to use to keep track of when each damage tick from the debuff happens. So to start off, we're going to put debuffs.dot tick plus plus. So what this does is every frame it's going to increase DOT tick by 1. Next, we're going to add another if statement. If debuffs.burn is greater than 0, then we're going to do the damage calculation. So variable damage, we'll call it, equals damage calculation, and then we got to put the parameters for this. So the parameters for the damage calculation function are attack damage, which is basically just the base damage that the attack would deal, and enemy fear. Fear is another debuff that is not important right now. Basically, what it does is it just increases the damage enemy takes by 25% and reduces their movement speed. But we haven't implemented that right now, so it doesn't really matter. This is basically always going to be 0 for now. So the base damage of the burn debuff is going to be O player dot base damage times 0.25. And so what it's going to do is every half a second it's going to deal damage. So this is just 50% divided by 2. I know I said 40% damage earlier, but I changed my mind. 40% C feels too low, so I changed it to 50% per second. Times debuffs.burn. Actually, we're not going to do that right now. There's another upgrade that affects fire damage, but that's not implemented yet. And then we just put debuffs.fear for the second parameter, which doesn't do anything right now, but you just gotta put it so you don't have to put it later. Oh yeah, I forgot to put this here. If DOT tick equals 30, so every 30 frames or half a second, it's gonna deal debuff damage. And then what I do is simply HP minus equals damage to deal damage, you know. And then what we're gonna do is just player dot dam damage dealt plus equals damage. Just to keep track of the total amount of damage the player has dealt over the course of the game. I also forgot to put this. Debuffs, burn duration, minus. So every frame it's going to decrease the burn duration by 1. We also have to reset the DOT tick variable. So 0. So what it does is it just counts to 30, runs this code, reset to 0, count to 30, run this code, reset to 0. So that's how it deals damage over time. And then once the burn duration hits 0, we have to make sure the debuff wears off. So if debuff dot burn duration equals 0, debuffs dot burn equals 0. So we're gonna have to do like this for every debuff. I'm sure there's a more efficient way of doing it instead of just spamming if statements, but I'll figure that out later. For now, I just want to make sure it works. So now, if we go into the game and test it, bar variable O enemy DOT tick not set before reading it. That's just not true at all. Look, what? Alright, my fault. I forgot to specify the struct that it's in. So this should work now. Okay, we're back in the game. Let's see if it works this time. No crash. What? Okay, just another typo. It's definitely gonna work this time, trust. Alright, moment of truth. You can see his health going down over time, even though I'm not hitting him. That's how we know it's working. So yeah, that's the burn debuff up and running. The other debuffs in the game are apparently they're linked to weapons and items that haven't been implemented yet. So I'll do that some other time. I want to add like a little indicator above the enemy health bars that shows what debuffs they have active, but it's going to be kind of hard because fonts are really weird in GameMaker. And I also want to add like a particle effect to show like that they have a debuff active, but I don't know how to do that. We'll just pretend they're on fire. Anyways, thanks for watching. Leave comments. Check out this Magic Archer lineup. Raw skill.